Megyn Kelly. You got to go to iTunes and download her podcast. Suddenly, millions of people are listening to Megyn on her podcast every single week. Megyn Kelly, welcome back. Good to have you.
Hi, Hugh. Good to be with you. Morning.
We have an interesting perspective, Megyn. You are a debate veteran. You are the Daenerys Targaryen of debates. In fact, I'm more like the Davos Seaworthy of debates, but we both have an interesting perspective on last night. Let's talk about Kristen. How do you think she did, given what we know about how difficult that job is?
I thought she did a good job. I thought she was in control, and the candidates were in control. I'll say she had an easier time than Chris Wallace did because she had a better behaved Trump, which makes her job easier. But I thought she was overall pretty fair. She definitely interrupted Trump more, and the topic selection, as we always see in these debates, leaned left. I guess I'm just sort of over being surprised by that or even judging it. I just like, unless it's a Fox News hosted debate, it's going to be that way. But I thought overall, I give her a thumbs up.
Now, you, like me, have a couple of Trump tattoos. He did not go after Kristen last night. Are you surprised by that?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, I think Trump, in an effort to get some of those suburban women, accurately recognized that attacking a young black woman on stage is probably not the greatest move. And I think he was smart to sort of keep powder dry there.
Now, Megyn, your assessment of the last 30 minutes, because and I've already told the audience mine, I think Joe wilted. I think the former vice president did not go the distance and gave up a lot of ground and a lot of unforced errors in the last 30 minutes. How did you score the fight?
Yeah, well, first of all, I didn't think Joe Biden was a factor. I thought it was Trump's night overall. I mean, it was just Trump. You know how he always used to say, like, I could be the most presidential president we've ever had. Well, last night he actually gave it a shot. You never really see him trying to be more distinguished, more controlled, more on point, more substantive, because he, I think, prefers to be fun and just avant-garde. And last night you saw him give it a shot, and it worked. He needed to do it at this time, and he did it. And I thought Joe Biden really wasn't much of a factor the entire night. And then when he actually started speaking up, he hurt himself. It was like I think his campaign would have preferred that he just stay quiet, stay mouse-like. But let's not pop up and say we're going to give amnesty to all the illegal immigrants as soon as we get into office, and let's not say we're going to get rid of fossil fuels. Like those are two things they didn't need to say. And in the battle for moderates, those are not good positions at this point in the race.
Oh my goodness, the Excedrin moments in the Biden debate room were many, and they got more rapid and with less space between them as the debate wore on, which makes a bigger point about whether or not he has the energy to do this job. Now, love him or hate him, Trump is a force of nature, and you and I both know this. He does not get tired, and he gets stronger. In fact, I thought he became more avuncular as the debate went on. Do you agree or disagree with that, Megyn?
Well, what I saw was he had control when he started, and he never lost it. He stayed focused, and my takeaway halfway through was what we saw in that first debate was a strategy because he's very capable of controlling himself in this setting. He must have just chosen not to do it. He thought in the first debate he should come out looking, quote, strong and punching. And then he clearly saw some information, between then and now that wasn't well received by the voters he needs, most particularly, as you and I discussed after that first debate, seniors and women in the suburbs. So, and that's not a surprise that they wouldn't react well to that. So I did think he was more presidential. I think the polls were closer than the raw numbers would show going into it, and I think Trump did a lot to help himself last night.
So, Megyn Kelly, before the debate, I was asked by Lester Holt what mattered. And I said he has to talk to Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin. Given the way I framed it, do you think he did that last night?
I think he did, and I think Joe Biden helped him a lot with the conversation about oil. And I think that's why he said Pennsylvania. Will you remember that? Which was smart of Trump. I mean, people make fun of the way he communicates, but he's actually really effective at communicating. He'll just keep saying the same thing over and over, like Pennsylvania, remember, Pennsylvania, remember. It's sort of like the Ukrainian thing, like it was a perfect phone call, and then suddenly you're having dinner with people and you're like, it was a perfect phone call.
Yeah, who built the cages? Who built the cages, Joe? Who built the cages?
That was really good, and I understand he's never gonna persuade the Rachel Maddows of the world, who last night, like one of her first reactions was, "I still remember the tears I shed." It was like I understand it is sad, and I'm a mother of 3 children, and it's sad to me too. But no one on the left ever acknowledges how the children got here in the first place. It was parents and with the help of coyotes who brought them up here. And it's not that we don't have empathy for them, but parents made these reckless decisions knowing what could happen. And both the Obama administration and the Trump administration have had to try to deal with it.
I
And
couldn't
Dan
believe it.
Brewer, the
I had
Arizona
Jeff
governor,
Sessions. Yeah, I had Jeff
yeah, go ahead.
Sessions on this show, and I stopped him dead in his tracks by asking him if he was like me, a grandfather, and what about these kids? So everyone has empathy, but who built the cages? That's going to be an American political lore, Megyn. By the way, when is the next Megyn podcast dropping, and how do people get it?
We'll be posting it in a couple of hours. We're going to tape it this morning, and usually only takes us about 90 minutes to turn it around. So you'll have it soon.
You turn it around in 90 minutes. Would someone talk from your team to my Dwayne? Because honestly, 90 minutes, you turn around in 90 minutes.
Well, we can do it if we tape it, if we do it sort of live to tape, where you don't really have to do any editing after the fact.
Oh my gosh, 30 years I've been waiting for that, Megyn Kelly. We will be listening to the podcast.